Well, just days before the one-year anniversary of Hurricane Ian, Christian music performers Mercy Me and Matthew West are set to perform at Hertz Arena.
The flyer posted on the Hertz Arena website says it's a benefit concert to support the victims of Hurricane Ian. But how can you be sure the money goes to those who actually need it? Wake News investigative reporter Celine McArthur digs into that fine print of the promise to see where your money is really going.
I got this flyer from the promoter and host of the live concert event that's going to take place here at Hertz Arena. Joe Knopp, who describes himself as a filmmaker and entrepreneur, reached out to me several times, anxious to be on Wink News to talk about the event. Well, when I started digging, I found some red flags you need to know about before you buy tickets or donate money.
Mercy Me and Matthew West together in concert for the first time. A benefit supporting the victims of Hurricane Ian.
Nearly a year after the monster storm, people in Southwest Florida are still struggling to rebuild, so that support can do some good. So you may be wondering, Celine, where is that money going and how can I get some? I asked Knopp. 2 weeks passed with no answer. I read through the website, page by page, line by line, looking for clues. Under who we are, it says Disaster Relief Foundation is made up of organizations, churches, and individuals, but doesn't list which ones. I also discovered Disaster Relief Foundation is not a registered charity or nonprofit. Neither is Disaster Relief Benefit Foundation, the name used to headline its corresponding Facebook page. So what is this?
I think you're asking a lot of the right questions.
That's Kevin Scally from Charity Navigator, a nonprofit evaluator. I asked him to weigh in.
What we're looking for is really good transparency from the outright as to this is where your money's going and this is what your money's going to do.
Scally says disasterreliefbenefit.com lacks transparency.
Definitely doesn't present as very straightforward.
After 2 weeks of pressing for an interview, I got Knopp on Zoom to answer my questions. He told me a visit from his home state of Ohio to Fort Myers back in March inspired him to find a way to help.
And I hate to say, but a lot of us who are not living in Fort Myers, you kind of forget, the magnitude of the effect and devastation that's still there today. So I said, well, we should do something.
That's something?
A benefit supporting the victims of Hurricane Ian.
The September 21st Mercy Me and Matthew West Hurricane Ian benefit concert, sponsored by what's called Disaster Relief Benefit.
So tell me about Disaster Relief Benefit. What is that?
So that's, to be completely fair, Disaster Relief Benefit is an organization that we put together at that time. It didn't make sense to have Joe Knopp Entertainment be putting this event on.
So Disaster Relief Benefit is an actual organization? Because I looked it up and I don't see a record of it.
It's, to be honest, I have to talk to my my attorney who put together. It's not a 501c3 and it's not incorporated. So it's basically, I guess it's a trademark name that we're using for the website itself.
I asked him about the name on his event Facebook page.
Connect, it's called Disaster Relief Benefit Foundation. Is that a foundation?
No, there is not an existing 501c3 foundation for that. So you saw that on social media?
It's on your website?
Part of the issue here is the social media team was looking for names that were available.
Knopp says he's working in concert with the National Christian Foundation, which is a registered 501c3. But the fine print on the benefit concert website states NCF has full discretion and control of your donations. A red flag for Charity Navigator.
I will say that it does come off a little bit contradictory to say, hey, money's going to be used for this fund, but we also have the discretion on how we utilize it.
According to the Disaster Relief Benefit website, donations go to things like the purchase and delivery of desperately needed items such as generators, chainsaws, tarps, rakes, shovels, batteries, food, first aid supplies, basic sanitary needs, and cleanup supplies.
That sounds like something that was needed a year ago.
My guess is my social media team took kind of boilerplate information from their sites and added it to ours. Our goal is to give funds to the existing nonprofits that were supporting Fort Myers. We do not plan to have a direct say in how they spend those proceeds. if that makes sense to you.
Knopp couldn't provide us a list of those nonprofits during our interview. So I asked him how the people of Southwest Florida can be sure the money raised stays in the community to help people devastated by Ian.
That's a let me think that through. I think we are working. We are working directly with the regional folks of Southwest Florida as part of National Christian Foundation.
Premier Productions, the company staging the concert, claims 100% of net proceeds will go to disaster relief benefit. On the sponsor page of Knopp's website, Joe says payments can be mailed to his personal business address or Bank of America account. Here's what Knopp said when I asked him to explain.
Sponsor money and the ticket sales go to my for-profit, production company, because we had to work with a for-profit company and did not have time to, start a new one specifically for the event.
Based on the information provided, Scally says donors need to beware.
Yeah, when you have different causes, or in this case, when you have a crisis, is that it really pulls at people's heartstrings, and they want to take that action, and they want to make the change in the world to make it better. But unfortunately, while it brings out the best in people, it can also bring out the worst in people, where you have bad actors that emerge and unfortunately take advantage of people.
After our interview, Knopp sent me a list of 7 organizations that may or may not be getting money from this concert. Knopp would not provide any more details. I did discover that one of these organizations is not a beneficiary of this concert. I also reached out to the National Christian Foundation several times. No response. I reached out to Hertz Arena and the performers, and so far have not received any responses. But I will continue to investigate, and I'll share with you everything I uncover. I'm investigative reporter Celine McArthur, Wink News.
Developments on a Wink News investigation. Thanks to our reporting, the Hurricane Ian benefit concert at Hertz Arena, scheduled for 1 week before the 1-year anniversary of the storm, is under investigation.
Wink News investigative reporter Celine McArthur brings you the exclusive details.
I sent my story to the Lee County Sheriff's Office to request they look into event organizer Joe Knopp, his website, Disaster Relief Benefit, and the September 21st concert he organized with Christian performers Mercy Me and Matthew West. As a result, the LCSO Economic Crimes Unit is now investigating. But that's not all. The National Christian Foundation, the 501c3 that was planning to collect and distribute the proceeds of the event, is backing out. After reaching out to them for weeks to talk about this, they finally responded. In a statement, NCF said they, quote, hold themselves to high standards of integrity and transparency in fundraising. They added it became clear that important questions could not be answered prior to the event occurring. As a result, we've made the difficult decision to no longer participate. The NCF spokesperson didn't say what questions they couldn't get answered. However, our questions were answered by Knopp. In my one-on-one interview, he admitted the proceeds were going into his personal entertainment company in Ohio.
The sponsor money and the ticket sales go to my for-profit, production company, because we had to work with a for-profit company and did not have time to, start a new one specifically for the event.
NCF told me the money already collected will go to a nonprofit out of Georgia called Inspiritus, which offers disaster relief services. Now, NCF did not say why they were selected or how much they're getting. Now, I reached out to Attorney General Ashley Moody. Her office tells me the findings in our report are concerning, and they're going to reach out to Knopp. I'll let you know what happens. In the meantime, I've been reaching out to our elected leaders for reaction. Congressman Byron Donalds sent a statement saying, in part, anyone using a tragedy to line their pockets through unconscionable, deceptive, or unfair practices should and will be called to the carpet and prosecuted under Florida law. My office is aware of the allegations related to the disaster relief benefit and encourages concerned citizens to submit a consumer complaint through the Office of Attorney General Ashley Moody. Well, I called Knopp to get a reaction. He has not returned my call. I also reached out to Hertz Arena and the performers to see if the concert is still a go. So far, no response, but I will stay on top of this. And as of Tuesday, Ticketmaster is still selling tickets for the concert. I'm investigative reporter Celine McArthur, Wink News.
A big development after a Wink News investigation. Hertz Arena announcing an upcoming disaster relief benefit concert has been postponed. According to Hertz Arena's website, the producer, Joe Nope told them he called it off in an effort to assure everyone the purpose of the event is to support the community.
This all comes after Celine McArthur's Week News exclusive, in which Knopp admitted that he planned to put the proceeds into his private company bank account.
Sponsor money and the ticket sales go to my for-profit, production company, because we had to work with a for-profit company and did not have time to, start a new one specifically for the event.
Celine's reporting prompted the Florida Attorney General and Lee County Sheriff's Office to investigate. It also drove a national Christian charity to back out of the event. The postponement came 90 minutes after Celine went on Wink News today to say lawyers and elected leaders are now asking questions about the concert.
To find out what's really going on, we need to follow the money, where it is now, how much has been raised in donations and ticket sales, and how it's moving from places like Ticketmaster to its supposed destination, the hands of people in our community who need it. While the Attorney General and local law enforcement do their investigating, I'm still doing mine.
Mercy Me and Matthew West, together in concert for the first time.
Brought together by Ohio filmmaker and entrepreneur Joe Knopp.
I have to be careful saying this, but I don't do this. I've never done an event of this magnitude before.
A benefit supporting the victims of Hurricane Ian, coming to Hertz Arena in Fort Myers.
I dug into Knopp's concert claim and corresponding website, disasterreliefbenefit.com, and discovered critical information missing, like what is disaster relief benefit?
So that's, to be completely fair, Disaster Relief Benefit is an organization that we put together at that time.
So Disaster Relief Benefit is an actual organization? Because I looked it up and I don't see a record of it.
It's, to be honest, I mean, I'm trying to, I have to talk to my my attorney who put together. It's not a 501c3 and it's not incorporated. So it's basically, I guess it's a trademark name that we're using for the website itself. We didn't have time to actually do the paperwork for the 501c3.
Fort Myers attorney Scott Goldberg isn't buying that no time story.
I could go to my office and go on Sunbiz and set up a new corporation as a 501c and have an EIN number probably by tomorrow, paying a very nominal amount. So I think, when you start seeing flags like this, it's a problem.
And not the only problem. On his website, Knopp claims the net proceeds of the concert will go to organizations offering disaster relief.
And he can pay his vendors and he can pay himself, and there's no transparency to what they're getting or what they should get or what percentage. It's not that hard to outline the costs.
Knopp would not break down those costs for me. Goldberg fears Knopp's confession of putting proceeds into his personal business account may protect him.
It's possible that there's nothing illegal about it. That's the worst part, because he's coming out and saying, listen, I have the ability to spend the money the way I want to.
Then I showed Goldberg this. Knopp still lists Disaster Relief Benefit as a non-profit online.
That's a problem for him. That's a bigger problem than anything else I've seen.
Tell me why.
Well, if you're claiming to be a nonprofit and you're claiming to sell tickets and those tickets are tax deductible, they're tax deductible if it's a nonprofit. They're not tax deductible if you're a for-profit. Our county commissioners should be looking into this as soon as they heard your first report.
I reached out to all the members of the Lee County Commission. No response. I reached out to Governor Ron DeSantis. No response. Former Florida governor, lawyer, and current U.S. Senator Rick Scott, who lives in Naples, tells me he's concerned.
We ought to know where the money is going to go. So you guys are doing the right thing. You're asking the right questions, because if this is going to help Southwest Florida, you have to know it's actually going to help Southwest Florida. So I'm appreciative of what you guys are doing.
Scott says Attorney General Ashley Moody and Lee County Sheriff Carmine Marcino need to figure out if Knopp broke any laws.
Now, if he's completely transparent, right, and people want to give you money, I mean, that's all great. But if you suggest that you're doing something different, then that's where you violate the law.
As for the net proceeds, Scott says operating costs for any charitable event, regardless of who's running it, should be transparent and low.
Before I ran for governor, I was involved in the United Way. And that's one thing the United Way always bragged about, is how their operating costs were really, really, really low. so the money went out. And then they were transparent about where the money went, which is what you should do.
Goldberg notes there is a silver lining to our investigation.
We're finding out about this before it happens. So you usually don't find out about it until after it happens. And so the reporting on this is incredible in the sense that we might have a way to turn this around.
Since the National Christian Foundation backed out, NOP is now using Charity Vest, a 501c3 platform for charitable giving accounts. Charity Vest has a spot on disasterreliefbenefit.com to take donations. However, Charity Vest's CEO admits they were not asked to manage the money from ticket sales, which would be the bulk of the proceeds.
I can only speak to the portion that Charity Vest is touching, but certainly it's a great step that they are driving transparency around the dollars that are ultimately going to be delivered. So either through Charity Vest or another organization or sort of another means, they are going to deliver the net proceeds ultimately to charity. But whether it does or not, we have their commitment that they will be public about the final net proceeds that are delivered.
When you say that there's a commitment, is there a legal document? Is there a contract that guarantees that?
No, there's not in this case.
And remember, Knopp told me the money from ticket sales will go to his for-profit business bank account. I reached out to him to see if that's changed. He won't answer calls or email. Ticketmaster also won't say how many seats are filled and how much money has been collected, but I will keep digging. I'm investigative reporter Celine McArthur, Wink News.
And bottom line right now, if you bought tickets, Hertz Arena says you have 30 days to get a refund at this point. You'll have another chance within 30 days of the new date for the concert, which has not yet been announced.